Young HGV drivers are quitting, threatening Labour's plans to build new towns. I'm going to read into this exclusive from the iPaper, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from the iPaper with a headline that younger HGV drivers are quitting, threatening Labour's plans to build new towns. Efforts to recruit new and younger lorry drivers have failed, leaving housing and infrastructure projects at risk, official report warns. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit that like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. Now, unfortunately, this, among many other things, is sadly not something that I'm kind of surprised about. HGV drivers is a very it's a very tough job. It's a long and exhausting job for many people. It requires a great deal of sacrifice. It requires, if you have family and whatnot, meaning you're spending a lot more time away from family because of the treks that you have to make as well. But there's has to be a question about the pay as well and the terms and conditions. Clearly, they must not be suitable for HGV drivers if this is why young HGV drivers are not doing them. Why else would people not want to do this? I also think that it's important to emphasize as well is that we lost a lot of lorry drivers over the past 4 years or plus. From 2016 onwards, we had less and less European drivers driving on our behalf, so we need to get in more British ones or perhaps people from non-EU countries. But this is something that we generally should be pushing a lot more. This is a job that definitely any fit young man or woman, adult can do. If they have the qualifications for it, they could be able to do it. But if the pay is not great, if the terms and conditions aren't good, if it's not suitable for them, why should they do it? And I think that's an interesting question to put. And also, with these young HGV drivers quitting, it means that there's not going to be many drivers for the future. And of course, this threatens. Obviously, while this does threaten Labour's plans to build 1.5 million new homes, you know, it's not just that, but it's other infrastructure projects are at risk as a result of this as well. So this is a great deal of concern if this story is to be true. So let's read a bit more into this, you guys. So a looming lorry driver shortage threatens government's plans to ramp up house building and infrastructure projects in order to drive economic growth. So potential crisis is also likely to hit home deliveries, with similar problems to those that led to the country coming to a standstill in 2021, when shop shelves were left empty for weeks and key industry supply chains were disrupted. Yeah, so obviously home deliveries, you know, the likes of Amazon and Royal Mail, when it comes to getting your parcels and whatnot, you know, all that kind of stuff, that's really important as well. 4 years ago, the then Conservative government launched urgent reforms to tackle the crisis and attract new HGV drivers. But according to the Department of Transport, the DfT, a report seen by the iPaper, that these have not been as successful as hoped. So although the problems are unlikely to be as severe as in 2021, which was exacerbated by Covid and Brexit, the Road Haulage Association, the RHA, will next week issue a warning to ministers that the logistics industry faces significant structural challenges. It will say that if the government wants to hit the target of 1.5 million homes, many of which would be in new towns, the industry needs to recruit 40,000 drivers a year for the next 5 years. That's a lot of drivers to recruit over 5 years, that's for sure. One of the government's key policies in 2021 was funding skills boot camps to fast track a new generation of HGV drivers. However, according to the DfT report, almost half, 47% of those who went through the training scheme are yet to find employment within the HGV industry or have given up and moved into a different career. So people who went through the course, went through the training and all that to become drivers, only about half of them actually went into the industry, roughly. That's really bad. That's really bad if they've gone through all that training and they've not even pursued it. Because here's the thing, like, you know what kind of here's the thing, like, why even go through it if you don't, like, you know what you're getting if you get this kind of job. It's going to be long hours. You're going to be sitting in the truck for a long time, going from A to B and whatnot. It's going to be a lot of time where you're on your own. You're not going to have, and if you have family and whatnot, that can also play a factor into your job as well, because obviously because you're constantly not at home, so you're not being with you have. It's quite an unsociable kind of job, I think it's fair to say. But those who have been drivers can speak for themselves on this one. The decision to relax working hours was thought to have a negative impact, as it puts off new recruits who dislike the unsociable hours and perceived it increased the dangers of the job. Sally Ginson, policy manager at the RHH, says, "We need to keep these young drivers in the sector, as we don't want to see people get funded training, get their license, and then shortly after. We saw quite a number train up, stay for 3 to 6 months, and then leave the sector." The other thing as well is it's possible. I don't know if they can, but it's possible that perhaps maybe some of them have gone abroad and to do the HGV jobs instead of in the UK as well. I don't know if any of that is true or not, but probably the terms and conditions and pay is probably better abroad, better in Europe as well. The DFT report also said that the move to liberalise immigration rules to attract foreign drivers failed, because the cost for sponsors who had to provide accommodation and substance meant companies were reluctant to hire from abroad. So you're not getting people abroad because you're expecting the companies to pay up for everything as well. Gibson warns that unless these issues were tackled, the government's house building plans would be in jeopardy. So many businesses work just-in-time deliveries, so the impact of just a few hours can be great to production lines, she said. One of the big targets for the government is the 1.5 million houses plans. You can't do that without supplies like brick and mortar being delivered quickly. With supply chains, we always think of toilet rolls, but the real impact is on the construction industry. She added, next day delivery will start to change. There will be a longer lead-in time on deliveries, and ultimately you will see less choice in the shops. The RHH report to be published next week will highlight the problem at the age of drivers, with a significant number set to retire in the next 5 years. It will highlight that only 2.2% of HGV drivers are 24 or under, and blames part of the problems on the ability of firms to get insurance for inexperienced drivers. And that's another thing as well, insurance. The House Builders Federation told the iPaper that the ability of the government to hit homes targets is contingent on lorry drivers transporting goods and materials across the UK, as delays and driver shortages have undermined the industry before. HBF spokesperson has said, if we can address the barriers to delivery and increase house building to meet the government's ambition, effective supply chain logistics will be key to momentum. Government spokesperson said, this government will deliver 1.5 million homes as part of our plan for change. And we're working closely with the industry to achieve this and fix the housing crisis. Alongside this, we are getting more HGV drivers onto our roads through the skills bootcamp, giving people the skills they need to start their career. Well, what are we doing? The question what we should be asking is, what are we doing to stop people turning away from the job? What are we doing to not get, like, how is it that half of them who are gone through in this training, how is it that half of them have gone through the training not gone to work in the industry? Why is that? What is putting them off that? Is it the pay? Is it the terms and conditions? Is it the companies themselves? I think this is a question that is boggling me. Now, obviously, drivers out there, I know there are 1 or 2 subscribers who are HGV drivers, who know this experience. Perhaps they can have better insight on this than me. But that is a question I think is worth answering, because clearly there are some people who went into this training with the intention of becoming HGV drivers and have gone out of it. And the question is why? And if it is down to pay, if it's down to terms and conditions, then these are things that need to be looked at. It's all well and good saying we're going to get more drivers involved, but we need to identify why. Why, since 2021, why is half of them not joining the system according to this? And I think that's a question we need an answer to. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make about the situation of young HGV drivers quitting, threatening Labour's plans to build pound homes? We know that there are problems with regards to materials as well. That's also another mitigating factor as well. But on this in particular, what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, if you found this video informative and helpful in any way to you, please hit the like button. That'd be greatly appreciated, and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.